On April 20th, Apple unveiled the brand new 2021 24-inch iMac. It comes in 7 different colours and features a completely new design. And here it is. In this video, I'll be going through the unboxing experience as well as giving my initial thoughts on this computer. I'll talk more about it later in the video, but this iMac comes in 3 configurations, although really it's 2. I opted for the mid-tier model in blue, which has the 8-core CPU and 8-core GPU, the Touch ID built into the keyboard, the Ethernet port built into the power brick, and I chose to upgrade both the RAM and the storage capacity to 16GB and 512GB respectively. This would have cost me a total of £1,849, but because I'm a student, it only cost me £1,665. If you're a student, I'd strongly recommend taking advantage of Apple's discounts on Mac and iPad products. Now, onto the unboxing. The iMac comes in this beautiful white box. On each side there's a corresponding angle of the product inside, which really shows off the full design of the iMac before you even break into it. On top of the box we have the word iMac in blue that matches the colour seen on the back of the computer. Along from that is a very durable looking braided blue carry handle. This blue is much lighter to match the blue of the front of the computer, as well as the stand. To begin the unboxing experience, you just pull along a tab of tape at the top, which allows the box to open out. Inside you'll see the faint hello text on the screen protector of the iMac underneath the cloth protection. The box opens out on either side, something that I think is really nice and shows that it's not just the product itself that's had the work put in. Once the sides are prized open, the bottom part releases and the iMac is free to be lifted out. Beneath the computer we have a compartment where all the accessories are housed. Included with this iMac is a colour-matched Magic Keyboard with Touch ID, a colour-matched Magic Mouse, a colour-matched braided USB-C to Lightning cable, a power brick and power cable. I have the mid-tier iMac, so this power brick also features a gigabit Ethernet port built right in. Then the very last thing in the box is the Apple documentation along with not 1 but 2 Apple stickers, one coloured to match the front, the other to match the back. The iMac comes wrapped in cloth, and to remove this you just pull down these tabs at the back and it slides right off. Underneath this are 3 sets of stickers to peel off, the Hello sticker on the front, as well as some plastic wrap on the back and around the edges. The power cable uses a new magnetic power connection similar to MagSafe but less easy to yank out. If you hold it near enough it will snap itself into position, and then you're good to go. Turning the iMac on for the first time, it will prompt you to connect the Magic Mouse and keyboard. Once this is done, you're greeted with hello in several different languages. The setup is pretty much the same for any Mac or iOS device and is fairly quick to get through. What was nice though was having a section of the setup for Touch ID. You set it up in the exact same way you always have, but it just feels so much smoother and faster to do here. It's such a nice thing to have to fill in passwords, authorise payments and much more. I don't know why it's taken them almost 8 years to get it on an iMac. The setup will then take you through a few other bits and bobs to do with privacy and the display, but once that's done, you'll be taken straight to the desktop. Taking a look at the Magic Mouse and keyboard, these are colour matched to the iMac. The mouse hasn't really had any major updates aside from the colour and still charges through a port located on the underside because, well, just because. The keyboard has had a few nice updates though, with the new rounded corners, the addition of Touch ID, and a new globe button on the function key which brings up emojis as and when you need them. A few of the keys along the top have also had their functions changed. F4 is now a dedicated spotlight search key, F5 initiates dictation, and F6 functions as a do not disturb key. The iMac also boasts a new 1080p camera, which uses the M1 image signal processor, which actually makes the picture surprisingly good. It's a little overblown in places, but I was sat directly next to a window when I tried it out. In lower lit environments it will certainly do the job well. The speakers were also another of Apple's selling points, saying that they're the best in a Mac. I haven't heard many other Mac speakers to make comparison, and I'm certainly no audiophile, but what I will say is that they sound very good to my ears. Speaking of sound, the iMac also features 3 what Apple calls studio quality microphones. Now, as I said, I'm not the best judge of sound, but this video's narration has been entirely recorded using them, so let me know what you think about them. Now it's time to move on to the star of the show. Well, One of them. The design. I know it's been quite controversial and there's a lot of elements people really dislike, but I have to say I completely love it. I think the dual colour design looks stunning and classy at the same time. The screen looks incredible, and yes, I even like the white bezels. I know. But I think they add some flavour and really complement the design. Considering Apple have gone with a more pastel colour for the front of the machine, I think black would have just completely clashed with it and looked horrible. The white complements it, and as a lot of homes these days opt for lighter coloured walls, the bezels will just blend right in, and before long you probably won't even think about them. I might make a follow-up video on the bezels once I've used the iMac for a few weeks. Now it's time for the other star of the show, the M1 chip. Whilst it's the same chip that we've seen in all of Apple's other Mac products over the last 6 months or so, as well as the recently released iPad Pro, it performs just as well. I'm not one for benchmarks myself, but from what I've seen, this model performs just as well as the MacBook Pro and Mac Mini, even better than them in certain cases. The mid-tier model also performs slightly better than the base model iMac, which for some reason only has one fan, making it less efficient when it comes to cooling. An odd thing for Apple to do, and even more odd not to advertise it as such. But as this is my first M1 Mac, I can't really comment on the performance of the other M1 Macs. All I can say is that this thing is ridiculously snappy. Apps open almost instantly. You know how they bounce before opening? Well, not anymore. Most of the time, Apple native apps are open before the app has even bounced once. That's seriously impressive. I'll probably make another video on how editing with this iMac goes, but this video has been entirely edited on it and I've run into no problems with it. Using DaVinci Resolve, it was an absolute breeze for this machine to handle. So, a few things to bear in mind when buying this iMac. Firstly, the price. The base model starts at $1299, but if you're a student, that price drops considerably to £1,124. Now, sure, you're only going to be getting 7 GPU cores and 8GB of RAM, but I'd say if you're an average student, this model will suit your needs perfectly. Or even if you're not a student, the $1299 model will probably do everything you need it to, and a bit more. Even if you choose the base model and add on the Ethernet port and the Touch ID on the keyboard, you'll still be spending less than the mid-tier model. However, if you're going to be doing video editing or photo editing on this machine, I'd suggest at least upgrading the RAM, as 8GB will be used up faster than you think. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's my first one, and I hope to be making many more soon. I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.